Hi, it's I Just Facts Made here again. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning subscriber, I really appreciate you for coming back. And if this is your first time stopping, please do well to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. So let's get straight to making this kaftan bubu dress with a tight belt. So I'll be working with these 3 yards of silk fabric that my client bought. Now, my client's shoulder is 19 and a half. That's for the extended shoulder. So I measured from her nape point to where her sleeves is going to stop. That's where the extended shoulder will stop. And I had 19 and a half inches. So now I'll go ahead and fold by 4, leaving in an open edge of 1.5 inches on the front. That's the center front. The opening will be my center front, just like you're folding a skirt or a dress with a zipper allowance. But this one will not be for our zipper, it will be for the opening, the slitted parts of the front and the neckline with an opening. So altogether, when I folded into 4, I had a total of 21 inches for the shoulder. This includes the sleeves, that's the shoulder sleeves. Okay, so I went ahead and marked 7.5 inch, which was her original shoulder, and then I came down by 1.5 inch from my 21-inch line so that I would get my shoulder slope, and then I connected it back. Then I went ahead to get my points from the shoulder slope down. I came down by 10 inches so that the bubu armpit will be free. Okay, then I connected it all the way down to the other edge of the shoulder. So I also marked where I got that 10 inches down and connected to the shoulder slope area. So the next thing I did was to mark her bust point. Her bust is 36.5 divided by 4 plus 5 inches, just to have that boo ease, that freeness. Now you can freestyle, you can do 4 inch, you can do 5 inch, you can even do more, depends on how big you want your boo to be. Then after that, I went ahead to mark the waist and then I connected. And I came down by 22 inches. 22 inches to get my hip line. So I went down by 22 inches to get my hip line, and then this is what it looks like. Okay, so I'll still attach my 5 inches to it and then connect as so. So this is what you should have when you are done. So now the next thing I'm going to be doing is creating a curve, connecting the line that leads to my shoulder and armpit hole to my bust, that curve there, so that it will give me like an armpit curve. Okay, then I went ahead to create my neckline, which was 2.5 by 1 inch for the back and 2.5 by 3 inch for the front. Okay, now for this, the down part of this fabric was messed up, so it altered the length of this dress. So I ended up working with the length the fabric could afford. So I'm using, I think the total length here was 57. Yes, 57 inches. And this client is really tall, so I think it ended up being like a 3/4 length, but she didn't mind. So I went ahead to create more like a cow effect. So the down part was a bit penciled. So you can actually make yours come down freely from all the way from the hip down. But for this kaftan, we made the leg part to be a bit penciled. Then I went ahead to cut everything out while marking out my 1.5 inch allowance for the front, for the center front of this dress. So while marking that, I also used my ruler to trace out the line and connect so that I could cut. Now this is what it looks like. Okay, please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section. I'd really appreciate. Okay, so this is me cutting out the whole fabric out. Okay, so after this, I went ahead to open up the shoulder. I opened up the shoulder, that's the extended shoulder sleeves, and then I went ahead to cut my neck out. So yes, for this neck, you can either decide to work with a bias or you can work with a facing. For me, I'm a lover of facing, so I used facing for this. Now I'll go ahead and cut my belt for my dress. Remember, this is a dress with a snatched waist. So the effect from the snatch waist is by our using a belt inside the dress. So I went ahead to measure 40 inches belt and a width of 2 inches. Okay, so I had to use my pen here to mark this. Please do not use pen on your client's clothes. Though I was able to trace everything off when cutting out. I was able to cut it out when getting my belt cut out. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be tracing out my facing. I ended up cutting out facing for my clothes, and this is what it should look like. So I cut the facing for the front and for the back. So this is the facing for the front. Now remember that the facing for the front has an opening because our center front is opened all the way down, and we have a small opening on the neck area. Okay, so I created that same opening channel, and then I notched with my facing. Now I'll be working for this facing. I used 2.5 inches down the facing. So for those that do not know, that's what I use. So you can use 3, you can use 2, you can use 2.5. Now I came down by 8 inches for the neckline. That is how deep I want my opening on the neck to be. Then for the dress area, I came down to the point where I want the slits to start from. So my client was really decent, so I worked with about 39 inches. So that was why the effect of the slit wasn't really obvious. Okay, I think 39 or 40 inches, yes. So let's get straight to the sewing aspect. So I went ahead to join my belt, sew my belt, so please, I would really appreciate if you do well to share this video. If this video was helpful to you in one way or the other, please do give me a thumbs up. It will really help me. And kindly subscribe to my channel. Subscription is absolutely free. You're not going to be charged for subscribing, okay? So please do well to subscribe to my channel. Thank you. So here I went ahead to, before sewing, I had weaved the opening on my center front. You can see I weaved the opening, I weaved the facing so that I would have a neat closure. Okay, so but another thing you can do is, if you don't have a weaving machine on standby, you can just hem a little part of it so that it will close up, then you match it. Okay, like you can just sew a little part so that it will be pressed down with your hemming gum. When you place it, like you just stitch that 1/2 inch, then press it down with your hemming gum. But it's totally optional, okay, just to have that neat edge at the end. Okay, but I think the weaving is a lot better, so if you can, just weave that area. So here I went ahead to join my shoulders. Now there are a lot of methods to join this shoulder with your facing. You can decide to spread it flat and join facing to facing, then shoulder to shoulder, or you can decide to use the back or the front and turn the shoulder in. So for me now, I used the back and turned the both shoulders inside. So it's optional. Anyone you feel works better for you, it's fine. Okay, so after doing that, I went ahead to bend or hem, whichever one you're used to, either to bend the shoulder sleeves or hem it. So this is our extended shoulder sleeve, so I went ahead to hem it. Okay, and after doing that, the dress is almost ready. Dress is almost set. So now for the front part, remember we came down by 8 inches for the neck opening. Okay, so I'm going to start my stitch from that point where I marked. Okay, you know the neck has a little slit or an opening. So from that point where I marked, I went ahead to start my sewing from there. Then I sewed all the way down to where my leg slits will be starting from. Okay, so where the opening on the leg area will be starting from. And then after doing that, this is what it should look like. Then I went ahead to iron. Now I don't have a steam iron, so I worked with my water and my iron, my electric iron. So I would go ahead and press everything all flat down. So you can see that the dress is already forming and is already looking nice. Okay, so I'll just make sure I iron everywhere all down flat, so that when placing my hemming gum, I would have a, like, my hemming gum will be well positioned. Okay, so it's advisable to iron everywhere flat before you put in your hemming gum. Okay, and then if you notice that maybe there was a squeeze around the neck, okay, you can simply open up that part and repress it from the front. We're pressing from the back, so if you notice any squeeze, just like I noticed on this corner, just simply open it and then press it to the front, because by then in the gum will still be active, if that's the word. Okay, so now my belt is ready. So what I'm going to simply do is I'm going to mark from my shoulder to my client's waistline, or to your waistline. So from my shoulder to the waistline, I would take my chalk and create a mark there. So now this chalk was really faint, so I just used my pen and just created a dash line. Please do not use pen or your customer's clothes. So I just created this dash line that was almost not obvious, especially if it is a white fabric. This material will not show the pain, but don't use pen on your client's clothes. Okay, so I went ahead to use 16.5 for her waistline, and then her waist measurement was 8 inches, because it's 32 divided by 4 was 8 inches. So I created that point and I used my chalk to indicate where I'll be placing the belts. Okay, so now after doing that, the next thing is just for you to stitch your belt. Now you will place your belt in such a way that your clients can tie the belt to the back. Okay, so you pin it in such a way, like what I just did here. You pin it in such a way that your clients can tie the belt to the back, like the belt will be positioned like an apron. Okay, let me use that explanation. So the belt will be positioned like an apron when you're sewing, like the strap you would tie to the back. Okay, so I went ahead now to stitch my belt. So this is me stitching the belt. Please make it a neat line, a neat straight line. Okay, I went ahead to stitch on both sides, and this is what you have here. Please kindly like and share this video with someone you know would want to watch it. I'd really appreciate. Okay, then after that, after joining my belt, next thing I'm going to do is just to shape the sides of my dress. And like, after doing this, we are at the end of this dress. So this is all it takes to make this kaftan or bubu dress with a snatched waist. So the snatch effect comes from the belt inside the dress. So you can make it in any other design, and just be sure to put that snatched waist belt, the belt for the snatching. Okay, now don't forget that this fabric was kind of stretchy, so I went in a little bit by half an inch. Okay, now this is what the dress looks like. Okay, isn't it snatched? Isn't it beautiful? Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate. Bye.